welcome back to Tifosi Time, episode somewhere between 12 and 14. The third trending, highest rated Serie A Juventus podcast, hosted by three brothers with the producer as a fourth brother on the East Coast.
Moving up.
Yeah, that's it doesn't sound like it's a very competitive bracket, but there's a few out there. So
before we start, hold on. Let's give our producer a little credit because we've been ragging on him for a few weeks in a row now. Like he's falling asleep during episodes. He's just been non-existent. But look at this. He's changing up the format. We got things looking fresh in here.
He has rebounded big from that stroke he had last week. Yeah, so far so good. I don't know what I'm looking at. I see it can't be a real comment because no one's actually watching, so I'm not sure what that is.
Yes. So we have the comments on the screen. We're going to have the graphics in the middle over there. We're all on the side. So if you have any comments, shoot them. We'll see them right on the screen there, and we can interact with you guys, and we can, just look at that. Somebody wrote something?
Did we get a comment?
Producer wrote a comment. Yeah.
Got to start somewhere. It's got to start somewhere. Comments are brought to you by Rolaids. All right, so guys, you want to talk a little soccer or what?
Yeah. All right, fine. Wait, I ask this every week, but we're obviously starting with Juventus because that's what you guys like to talk about. So let's start with Juventus game.
Let's do it.
Juventus game that while we were watching, we were putting together furniture, all four of us together. So there was a lot of laughter because we're inept and we don't know what we're doing, but also frustration because we're watching a game that kind of sucked.
Yeah, so let me put that a little bit in perspective for our viewers because
Oh shit. I did it again. It's 2-1 the score.
Oh my goodness. So
yeah,
so the first test of the podcast was the score was actually 2-1. So
there's 2 goals there. I just didn't put 2 there.
Okay, here's it. So from now on, when you make the game screen, why don't we just focus on make sure the score is correct? Everything else is fluff.
Whatever.
But so these guys were stuck. I basically twisted their nipples to get them over to my house to put together my new office, and it literally took us 14 hours to put together 3 pieces of furniture. They left tattered, bleeding, beaten men. We are not handy. All our skills are strictly in podcasting about soccer,
and making graphics. So
and making graphics. And if that's not in the time that me and these 3 bozos put together 3 pieces of furniture, my wife put together 2 by herself while cooking a bunch of meals and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that was a win all around. But let's get to the game that we watched in the background. What does it say?
He said, let's go. Let's start talking about the game. So go ahead, Chris, start us off.
Quadrado had 2 nice assists, right?
Well,
Actually, yeah.
Well, we've been saying that all season, but the first half, if you saw the highlights or if you watched the game, Torino had better chances. Zaza had a nice chance. Torino scored first.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The first half, I feel like Juventus' defense was more falling asleep. There was a couple of chances there where I think Szczesny ended up saving them. That could have been 2-0 easily.
Yeah.
Look at that real-time change to the graphic. Juventus won 21-1.
Yeah. So with the starting lineup, I mean, it was nice to see Chiesa out there again, right after coming off of the Champions League game where he played pretty decently, right? Then no Morata because he was still suspended, so we got to see Dybala and Ronaldo playing together. Not that Dybala did anything special again, but
eventually Dybala's got to break through, right?
You would think, right? I mean, he always breaks out of it, but this year is just, I don't know. It's really a struggle for him.
I saw a horrible question posted somewhere on Twitter. I won't name the account because it was such a stupid question. I didn't really pay attention. And it was, would you trade Dybala for Pogba? And luckily, the first few answers, people were saying no. So I didn't feel like I had to contribute. But
yeah. So I saw that too because Pogba's agent came out and said that his time at Manchester United is pretty much over. So obviously, people are linking him back with Juventus because Juventus gets linked with everyone. And since Dybala's doing awful, it's let's swap them and make them both.
That would be the dumbest move in a series of dumb moves that Juventus could do. That was the one thing they actually did good. They got a guy free and sold him for $100 million. Let's bring him back.
I mean, that might be one of the best moves in the history of soccer, right? Like you get someone free and then you sell him for $100 million.
Yeah, but they're dumb enough to bring him back. Watch.
I can see that too. Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's Riola just trying to create buzz for his client. I see some chat going down there. Someone's dominating the chat, but I can't see what it says.
So. There is. He's basically saying McKinney should start every game.
Agreed.
Producer boys agreeing with that. McKinney, he's just full of energy, and you just like the style he brings and the positivity he brings to the game. So yeah, I think just overall, like for the team, I think he lifts everyone up, and he's just got like the smile on his face all the time. And he's just.
Well, look, I said that a few weeks ago. Yeah, I said that a few weeks ago. I think the midfield has to be a combination of McKinney and Rabiot as long as they stay in form and run and put in the work, because I don't know, it's a big decline when they're not on the field, I feel like, in terms of work rate. Go ahead, Chris, I cut you off. Yeah, I think he's going to end up taking a spot. One, because we don't have this grand, huge players in the midfield, right? I think it's up for grabs, and I think if anything, Pirlo, I think he seems to be a little bit more open as to who he's willing to play. I think a little bit more open-minded, and I think McKinney's going to take a spot, right? He has to show consistency.
So here's the question: McKinney's deal is, I think, $18 million Juventus has to pay to keep him. He's worth that? You're paying that?
Yeah.
Yes, I pay it.
100% I'm paying that.
Yeah, I pay it. Especially with today's prices. I know everything's a little bit deflated. People don't have money with COVID and everything. But, yeah, $18 million for a midfielder his age, not to mention just the pure marketing potential of a U.S. player.
For sure, yeah.
It's a no-brainer. And I think he's very useful to the team, for sure. I mean, look, he doesn't have elite speed. Like, he's fast, but he's just a half a step away from, like, elite speed. He doesn't have tremendous skill. He's better than some guy who runs around with no skill, right? He's just – I think he's going to be a solid player.
So he's still young, right? What is he, 21? Yeah. He's still learning. The time in Italy where he's practicing, he's going to get better for sure. You can see it already in a couple of weeks. Like,
well, what he does have is elite attitude potentially, right?
For sure, and you can't deny his work ethic and his attitude. And that stuff you can't really teach. So the fact that he has that he's got that going for him.
I think he knows he needs that. Otherwise, he's not going to be taking more.
You need more of that on Juventus, quite frankly, right? You need more of the Buffons and Kelly. You need the next group of people. Especially if Ronaldo ends up leaving. Who's that guy on there that really just hates to lose? What's going on in the chat? I see things.
We have a comment saying that the mistake was from the start. Daddy doesn't want Chiesa on the team. He wants OR, the French kid, over the summer, the rumors that were happening.
Yeah. So what was the thing I read the other day that OR was so close to being Juventus, but then I think it was Bernardeschi, right? Said no to the
Yeah.
move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard those rumors too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how true it is.
he's gonna leave. He's going to move from the French league.
Yeah.
It's just he's right. Chiesa really wasn't a need. The center midfield was a need, and that would have helped them tremendously.
Well, that's why I was ripping that when it first started, right? With Chiesa, we all were, because it wasn't a need. It was the seventh or eighth offensive wing that we have, not because he stinks or we don't want him to do well. It's just because you can't buy random players because you can't get if you need a center midfielder, you can't not strike out on the second center midfielder and go, okay, I'm just gonna get two more wings. Like it doesn't work like that, right? It's so. Yeah, I think OR is definitely going to leave too, and I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's probably going to be a summer transfer. He's too big of a name to move in January, but we are going to start hearing a lot of names because the window is coming up close.
We were joking around because we heard some bad news about Demiral potentially being hurt for the year, right? Was he actually injured? Did they update that at all?
I just heard last thing I read was possibly for the season. But I didn't. Yeah. I don't know if there's any.
So if he's injured for the season, let's throw this out to the chat, and we'll see if he. So my contention is that I love what I've seen out of Lovato already, and I would try to snatch him up if I was Juventus. And we made the joke that they would probably buy him and then loan him away before he ever plays. So if you're in the chat, let us know what you think about Lovato. Is he just too young, too little seen so far, or is he something?
I think it's too little right now, but I do see him getting bought and then staying with the team, keeping the loan at least for the season. Also for Verona, they don't want to lose.
I have no problem
players,
with that for 1 year. But the problem with Juventus is that you think they have a good plan, they do that. The guy redoubles and shows that he's good again, and then they sell him anyway.
Yeah.
So Juventus has an issue right now, right? Like it's Bonucci, Demiral. No, Demiral's out, so it's Bonucci, De Ligt, and Danilo. Right?
Again, those are the people that are out, you said?
No, those are the people that are left.
Yeah. Who is it? Danilo, De Ligt,
and Bonucci.
And he's going to play 3. That's all.
Hey, can they call back Rugani?
No thanks.
What about Frombotta? Is he hurt too?
No, but he's not a central defense.
So right now you're rotating. You have 3 guys. You have to rotate players. They need someone. If Demiral's out for a while, they got to get someone.
Well, what about Chiellini? How long was he out for?
Chiellini
pulled his groin, didn't he?
Plays once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, eventually he's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
What do you write down? What do you write?
I don't know. That chat is really small. It's hard for me to read it.
We should swap it. We should put the chat in the upper one and the incorrect game thing on the bottom.
So yeah, but let's talk more about the actual game. So if Bonucci kind of redeemed himself because when Cuadrado actually scored and they took the goal away because Bonucci was offsides and he didn't touch the ball, but he interfered with the goalie. That's the whole offsides thing that Frankie's been talking about for the past few months. But rightfully they took the goal away because he did impede the vision of the goalie and the spacing. So it was a good call. Juventus seemed like they started to care after 70 minutes. They really started going out after it, last 20 minutes. Both mirror goals pretty much. The crosses from Cuadrado, who is honestly I read Reddit all the time and I'll comment when people say negative things about Cuadrado because I'm like, what game are you watching? Like when he's on his game, you saw that he's been overplayed. He's played every game and he was tired the last 2 games and didn't play all that well. He got back into form today and you saw how effective he is and how instrumental he is into their offense. Like if he's not crossing the ball in, nobody is. He doesn't. No one else can get the crosses off he does. They're picture perfect and they go right on the people's heads and it's like the easiest finishes in the world.
Look at the producer making real-time suggestions and putting the chat in the upper. I love it. It's good. Yeah. No, agreed. So listen, Cuadrado is definitely in terms of their wing play, he's been the most consistent. He's still limited, right? If you go back to that Barcelona game they lost, Pedri, how do you? he dominated him all game, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. He got dominated that game.
He had problems containing him, right? So if you have a really good offensive player with speed, especially the way Juventus was playing, trying to press. Like he had a hard time containing him. But
Daddy likes the Romanian kid that got some run the other day.
Oh yeah, Jagusin. I don't know. I had mentioned that the other day that he for the previous Champions League game that they were saying that he might start, and he didn't start, but he did play in the midweek Champions game this week, and held his own. For his first game ever, 18 years old Romanian kid. I think he's the captain of the under-21 team for Romania. He's got promise. So, I can't see them relying on him for the season.
That's tough.
But for a pinch here and there, and they need to put him in, sure, why not? Let him learn, let him play. But
it's gonna be hard to get any real center backs in the winter transfer window. Like none of the good teams are going to give you someone that's
it's
not going to happen.
So it'd be like a couple years ago they got Caceres or whatever he's on Fiorentina now, right?
Maybe we can buy Bastoni from Inter.
Yeah, sure.
We can give him Bonucci.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Conte would probably go for that. He loves Bonucci. Give us Bastoni for Bonucci, and we'll call it a day.
All right, so just going off Quadrado's passes, like literally there was no defense. There was like 8 players in the box that could have scored both those goals. I don't know what Torino was doing. Did you watch? They were just not there.
Chris, I've mentioned this before. Like weeks and weeks before, like Torino does not play a full 90 minutes. They let up the dumbest goals all the time. They put Saragu in a terrible spot, and there's just open men constantly, and that's why they're in relegation right now. They suck. They're not a good team. So that game should not have. I know it's a derby, but it should not have been as hard as it was. But they got the 3 points, and that's what matters. Even though it wasn't the prettiest.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Look, they've at this point just getting some points counts, but the problems are still there. There's no doubt, right? It's still a team in early development, and they take one step forward, they take one back. They take one step forward, they take one back. So, until I see 10 good games in a row,
10 good games in a row. Good luck with that. I don't think you're going to see 10 good games in a row.
We don't need Bastoni. We need a midfielder. I saw
1 or 2. Bologna.
1 or 2 in the Bologna. Yeah, Bologna's got a few. They got Bologna's what they got Shoten, and they got a few decent guys. No one that I would say is Juventus quality, but. We'll see. We'll see if they do anything in the transfer market. I don't think they will. I don't think it's going to be anything major.
No, I don't think they have a big rush of money. I think it's going to be kind of what your team is, but you are, for this year.
Yeah, they're still relying on Arthur. They're going to make him, still develop and get acclimated and stuff. So, we'll see. Well, you guys want to move on to another game? Do you have anything else to say about the Juventus game?
No, let's move.
All right, Dom, you want to go to the Inter game next? Hopefully, you got the score correct on this one. I did. Look at that, 3-1. Woohoo!
Small wins.
So the big thing I took out of this game was Hakimi, because Hakimi's been getting a lot of negative press. Rightfully so. He hasn't been good this season. And that's partly because the coach focuses so much on defense. And when you're talking Hakimi, you have to think offense. Like, that's why he's there. You want him making bombing runs down the wing and crossing in and, using his speed. But it doesn't seem like he's been able to do that this year. And he hasn't played well. But this game, you saw what he's capable of and how he should be used and what he should be doing on the field. He was a threat. The whole time. So he played really, really well. And then Lukaku, we've mentioned before, Ibra as being the MVP. I don't know. Lukaku has been so good.
Dude, and he without him, that team is totally different, and they are not good. He's good.
And why I like him so much too is because not only is he a good soccer player, but everyone says he's like the best guy in the world. He's just like the ultimate teammate. He's the nicest guy in the world, and he backs it up with great play on the field. I don't think I've ever seen Lukaku play this good. Not in any of his time in England or anything like that. He's like
Belgium, he's had some good tournaments.
Okay, but that's a tournament. That's not a consistent season. Like, he's on another level right now that I've never seen him at. His hold-up play, his, just beating people up, bullying them off the ball, getting shots off, the speed, the strength. Like, it's a great combination he has. It's very difficult to stop him.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that sticks out to me is like, yeah, physically he's really strong, right? But there's a lot of guys like that. But he really seems to be using his body and his physical presence like perfect this season. It's like he's holding off defenders. He's doing good layoff play. Like he just he's even got enough speed to anticipate and get to the ball a lot of times, in the box in front of people. So, years ago, I didn't think if there was a no-brainer that if he came to Italy, he would score all these goals for sure.
I mean, the knock on him was that like his footwork wasn't the best, and he wasn't a great passes, ball at his feet. But like I see him trap the ball and lay the ball off beautifully and make runs, and like I don't know, like he's definitely improved since all of that from 4 or 5 years ago when people just said, "Hey, he's a bull and he just runs." He does so much more than that.
So we got a comment that said, because Conte is fixated on the 3 defenders and they're playing with the 4 back line, and that's why Hakimi's not playing good. And I agree with that. I think there's not enough – people don't take enough consideration that just playing with the 3 in the back and then those wing backs is different than playing with the back 4. And it's an adjustment. Like they just think, oh, he's a play with back 4 and he's just going to attack because he attacks from the fullback. Well, it's different when you're in the midfield, and the timing of the runs is the hardest thing I think sometimes for these guys to get right because the game's not always in front of you where you can run into space. So I agree with that. I think Conte did that to a lot of players on Juventus too when he was on the team.
Mm-hmm. Going back to Lukaku, I actually like him because he finishes. Like even the goal he scored this week. Like, he whiffed on the ball, but then like he had the composure to like settle himself and just score. How many players put that over or whiff on it again, He's good.
Going back to the so speaking of Conte, I listened to a little bit of his press conference, and what he was
crying was there.
I like to watch his press conferences. Like I just enjoy like what stupid thing is going to come out of his mind. But like he almost said it in like an arrogant way because like he was like, so he noticed that I think Bologna had switched up formations. They don't usually play that formation, and he was saying, I take it as a sign of respect, that they're adapting to us. They're changing their mentality because we're a strong team. But meanwhile, you see him never change his formation. What is he saying? He respects no one, and he's like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and you guys have to adapt to me because he's not that strong to be able to do that.
Stubborn as hell, man.
And he's just stubborn. I just thought it was funny to hear him say that because he's one to never adapt. So what is he saying? I don't respect you.
First of all, it's just a stupid statement, right? Because you're Inter. With every single player that you wanted, you bought. And now you're proud, even if that is the fact that Bologna is adjusting to you. Like, there's certain games on the calendar that Inter, Milan, Juventus, when they're good, these other teams always come in with if I get anything in this game, it's a luxury. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how do you adjust more than that? What is he saying? Oh, they adjusted to me. I mean, it's true. When does Conte ever adjust? Maybe in that Spain-Italy game that they had years ago where he came out pressing the defense and really gave Spain a hard time. I forget what tournament it was. That was about it. Other than that, I can't remember a game where I could say, oh, Conte really made it different.
Yeah, I was just curious to see if that was his mentality behind it was, hey, I'm I don't respect you. I'm doing what I want to do. You have to adjust to me. Like that's how like strong-willed he is, and that's how like confident he is, and I don't think he should be that confident. And he just came across that way to me. And of course, I was reading in subtitles too, so I'm not getting like the full effect of how he's saying it or whatever because I only understand a little bit of Italian.
Was he spitting in anger? We got a comment here that saying that Eriksen's pretty much he's not the same player, which is true. Like I get what we're saying here, but with like he's not playing well, or he's not playing.
Well, he's really Conte for that, and Eriksen's a good player.
So Eriksen's gone in January. He's not staying. But he's definitely gone. But yeah, so he put Eriksen in the 90th minute. I think there was 3 minutes extra time. He played that at the end of the game, Everyone celebrates. The whistle blows. Everyone celebrates. Eriksson walks straight to the locker room. Doesn't say a word to anyone. You can tell he's checked out. He's pissed off, and I don't blame him one bit. I don't think he really got a fair chance over here. No. And it's a shame because Inter wanted him. And this is how they treated him.
And listen, Eriksson was a good player, and it just shows you that it doesn't matter who you are. If you have the wrong coach or sees the game a different way, you're screwed. I mean, you can go back. There's countless examples. Eriksson now, but I mean, you can go back to the 2006 World Cup with Trezeguet on France, right? That coach preferred everyone over Trezeguet.
Well, didn't he not take him because of his astrological sign or something like he was?
I don't know. He took him. He took him and ended up by But the point is, it doesn't matter what your career is or what you show. If the coach has a different idea what he wants the team to play like, you're screwed.
But that's my thing. Like, they picked him. Like, they wanted him. Like, did you not have in mind what you wanted from him? Like, why'd you go after him if you didn't? Like, it doesn't make sense.
That's the typical. We're shopping with. We're trying to eat at the $100 restaurant with $10. I'm putting the comment, but you pick players and then you still don't use them right.
So if I remember correctly, that transfer was January, and they could have signed him for free, but Tottenham didn't want that to happen, so they spent like $10 million, and now they have him. They're going to get rid of him. Who knows what they're going to get from him in this market when no one's got money, right?
Well, listen, his value definitely isn't high. I think they'll get decent value for him, and I definitely see him going back to England and being a lot better than what he is right now.
I think suits him a little bit better in England too.
Yeah. Me too. I could see it being a loan with an option to buy or something.
No, he's out of there.
They ruined his money. You're right.
I think it ruins Inter's reputation. Moves like this where you keep people for 6 months to a year and then you just get rid of them, like that sends a red flag to some people. Like, hey, I don't want to go to this team. There's no stability. There's no, there's a chance where I could come here and it could suck and I would have to leave and move my family again in 6 months. Like that, those kind of moves they don't look good for you.
So that's why I was hoping Rabiot would kind of pan out, because like people were just saying, "Oh, just get rid of him. You got him for free anyway." Well, no, it doesn't work like that. No one's going to want to come to your team if you just ship him out in 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, but I have to say, after the way that he played the first year, I was I don't know what happened. I think he just did some amphetamines or something. The last 10 games of last year.
Well, I think they're in different situations. Like Rabiot didn't have this, he didn't have this outward, talks, to the media like Eriksson. He didn't have this. He didn't have the desire. Like he never said, "I want out." Like Eriksson's pretty much said, like, "I want out." So I think it's different situations, but it could have turned that way. It could have been like Ramsey and him could have been like, "You know what? I want to get the hell out of here. This sucks."
Yeah.
All right. So no, I agree that he says that a team to go and take Inter, give 10 million to Inter and run. I think at that point they're probably going to take it. I don't think Inter's not in a the strong position in this. They're going to get lowball offers and they're going to have to take one because Eriksson's now he's going to become a cancer. It's going to become just worse and worse.
Well, he'll, whatever team gets him for 10 million, we'll do a hell of a buy, right? Because if they rehabilitate him, he'll be worth 30, 40 in a couple of years again.
For sure.
He should go to Dortmund. They'll turn him into a $60 million player.
Probably.
So just another thing on the game, Inter never makes it easy. They were up 2-1. They were up 1-0 or
2-0, I think, right?
They were up 2-0. So then Bologna scores. And Bologna has a little bit of momentum when Vignato scores. Luckily, Inter responded pretty quickly right after. But when it was 2-1, like Bologna looked like they might be able to do something. But they pulled through in the end and got the victory, and they hold in second place. And I think if you see the stat over there, only PSG and Bayern had more goals than Inter this season in the top 5 leagues. So
nice goal this week by Roy Keane. By the way, I'm not Roy Keane.
Moise Keane.
Moise Keane.
Robbie Keane. How many Keanes can you name before you name the right one? I didn't see it. You guys have anything else to say about the game?
No.
All right. Guy Urdini, I think, is in talks for a 2-year contract extension. So good job.
They can have him.
Let's move to another game, Dom. Just pop up another one. I don't care which one you go to. All right, we got our first place team, Milan, 2-1 versus Samp. Did either of you guys watch this game?
No.
Okay, so I did. This game, so Inter, again, it's a 2:45 Sunday games. They were getting every time, primetime game Sunday. I don't know, it's weird. Like I think even this week they do it again. Tonali played again, or he started actually. I thought Tonali played horrible, especially in the first half, just giving the ball away, just looking uncomfortable. He's really disappointed this year. Dom, put up the graphic. I don't want to see my face. I have to see who's playing. They won. No Zlatan again. There was talks that he may be getting very close to coming back, but he didn't start. So Rebic started up top. Gabbia played pretty well defensively. I know I rag on Romagnoli, but I would play Gabbio and Kaya instead of Romagnoli in the middle. Calabria has become a beast on the outside.
Calabria years ago started playing really well.
He's become so well. If you check the Reddit, the Milan Reddit, they are in love with him. Like they're all for him. But he really has played well this season because there was high expectations for him, and he, the last few seasons not playing all that well, but this season he's really turned it on. Yeah, I agree. Samp played bad in the first half, like really bad in the first half. They played a little better in the second half, but Milan. This is a game last year or the last 9 years where Milan would have tied the game 2-2. Because they just didn't have it in them. They didn't have that winning mentality. This year, you're seeing them beat teams 2-1 when they should win. But Samp had chances, and Donnarumma made a couple of saves, and they get lucky here or there. But they're pulling these games out now this year instead of tying them 2-2, and this is why they're in first place.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you can do that for the whole season, that's how you're going to win.
I mean, that's how Juventus wins.
Yeah, when you don't play that great, you get the points.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think's going on with Tonali?
I don't think Tonali's comfortable. I don't think he's. I think he's still adjusting. He seems timid and nervous to me. I mean, even his long balls, they're just errant passes that just aren't going where he wants them to go. He's not playing well. He hasn't adjusted well.
So he hasn't played that much though.
Yeah, no. But Milan got a penalty kick that Kessie converted. For me, this is controversial because it was the defender going up for a header.
I saw this.
For me, I get why they called it, but he was going up for a header. The ball gets deflected. The offensive player hits the ball with his head. The ball immediately goes to the defender's hands.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe 1 foot away, no time to react, and they say hand in unnatural position.
Yeah,
so
it's a travesty.
For me, that's a natural position. You're going up for a header. You're taught when you go up for headers, put your arms up. Shield the ball, shield the guy, whatever. You have to use your arms to jump. That's natural to me. I'm putting my hands up. So
that's exactly right. It's like natural position is not in a static, never move. When you jump, you don't jump with your hands at your side.
Dude, that's why.
I'm not silhouette while I'm jumping. That's so stupid to me.
So it's infuriating when you see defenders following forwards, right, and their arms are at their sides.
Yeah, it's the worst.
You're not playing defense to me.
It's the worst. Yeah. It's to me that's the biggest thing in their head now. Chris is totally right. You see defenders tracking forwards with things. They're more worried about their hands behind their back than being balanced, so they can't be cut out of the move, right? And then you wonder why they're dribble around them so easily because they can't even.
100%.
It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing ever.
And forwards know it because you'll see players purposely, intentionally try to shoot for their, hit their hands with the ball. It's stupid. Yeah. It's not soccer. It's dumb.
It's not. I don't see how they could review this at the end of a season and say, "Yep, let's keep doing that." I don't. What does it add to the game? It's not like there's no thrill in a penalty shot. Does any fan go, "Ooh, let me watch this penalty shot"?
And that's what they want.
like in that specific instance, it's impossible for the defender to even see the ball, react time enough to move his hand away. The ball was literally hit from the head straight to his arm. He
to me, that's the ball playing the hand, which was the old rule, right?
Yeah, exactly what it was.
Now it's this. Oh, we want to take out the subjectivity. Let's just make it. If the ball hits your hand and it's not up your ass, then it's a penalty. Well, that's not soccer. That's stupid.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel for Samp. I think they were a little unlucky with that, but I know why they called it because it's a rule. I just hate the rule. But right there, that's the difference. It's a 1-1 game then instead of 2-1. You know, but like I said, Milan they stuck it out. In the comments, they were saying that Milan's high morale is going to dip eventually. Yes, we do have to see how they react after their first loss. Is it something they're going to bounce back from, or they're going to let it, stick with them for a while? I think everything that you see online is the players are absolutely in love with Pioli, and there's a connection there with them. So I don't know. I think he does have them flying high. I think he's doing really well with the team, and I hope it for them. I hope it does stay, but I do want to see how they react after their first loss.
Yeah. I mean, not so much their first loss because they will lose, but it's all about what is that first losing streak? Do you cut it off at 2 games, or does it end up being 7 games?
Yeah, that's right. They're going to stop leading, or they're going to keep going. Like if Zlatan calls somebody out because they lose and they had a terrible game, is that person shutting down for the rest of the season? Like, oh man, my season's over. He just killed me.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. See how they react to that. My screen's frozen, so I don't know where we're at. I know we have another game. I think we have the Rome Sassuolo game.
So we got Daddy wants Kessie on Juventus.
Yeah, tell me he missed that boat. That should have been without the Lant about 6 years ago.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, they got him for a few years ago, like for $30 million.
No, less than that.
Less, I think maybe
less than that. Yeah, I mean, he is the midfielder. I mean, you want all of Milan's, midfield. Benacer, Kessie, Tonali. I take all 3 of them, and you get rid of every single midfielder on Juventus. But not McKennie. Fine, we'll keep McKennie. But Kessie, I mean, just offensively, he does it. He's strong in the midfield. I said the other week, I think he's their best defender. Like he's just strong and he's smart. He plays the ball. He's got finishing skills. He does it all. So yeah, I would love to get him too.
Well, listen, it took him a little bit, right? Because when he came from Atalanta, that's how he'd play. And in the first 2 years, he didn't show that at all. It was like you thought he was like done. You thought he got like a paycheck and he was done. And now he's back to form.
He had like a different attitude. It felt like, and that could come down to coaching. He doesn't like the coach, or he's not, like the atmosphere of the team. It's a lot easier to play well when everything's going right. Like everything's going right for them. So there's no need to be pissed off at anything, or
the comment is Kessie and McKennie would make a good pair. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you would have 2 people running nonstop and really controlling the middle of the field. Yeah, let's make that happen. They can have Bonucci back.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight Bonucci for everybody. All right, let's go to the Rome Sassuolo game. No Caputo again.
It's like heartbreaking, man.
Dude, he's killing me. I was just about to jump on the Caputo bandwagon, and he parked the bus and got off. Like, when's he coming back?
I don't know. What's his exact injury, even, Chris? Like, I know you keep up on him, but you have a poster of him in your wall or something. But
dude, I don't even know now. But like, this game was disappointing too because they're up a man, 60 minutes left, and they can't even get a goal. They tie 0-0.
Don't you guys like Snapchat? Why don't you find out what's wrong with them?
This game was terrible. This is not a good game. Rome just, I mean, they go down a man, 40 minutes into the game. Pedro gets an early yellow card on a stupid foul, and then, hey, I have a yellow card, I'm going to do another stupid foul. And he, gets thrown out. Getting thrown out in the first half on 2 yellows, like, come on, what the hell? So that really changed it didn't really change the whole dynamic because Rome, to be honest, with 10 men, they held their own.
They didn't play bad at all.
Yeah, they didn't play bad.
Yeah, but I expected so much more out of this game. I thought it was going to be a really fun attacking game, and it was the complete opposite of it.
So that's the thing. When there's red cards and stuff that gets thrown in there, it ruins games. I hate it. I just want 11-on-11 to play the game, But I don't know. I didn't even see the fouls, so I don't even know.
They were stupid fouls. They were like, "Come on, you're a veteran and you're doing this." Two fouls in the first half. It's just stupid. And it did change the game. If they had 11, they win that game because they were controlling with 10. They were the better side with 10. Fonseca got thrown out at halftime because he said something stupid to the ref. You're seeing that so much more, obviously, because they can hear more of the refs. But so many coaches are getting tossed.
So they cut away from that. They were showing the beginning of that. I wish they would have kept the camera on. It was halftime, but they caught the beginning of it and then they just cut.
I saw the ref pull out the red card, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who he gave it to. And then when they brought back, they said that Fonseca got the red. It was a disappointing game for both teams. Both teams that are in the top 6 to have a 0-0 draw. Two of them were offensive teams.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a good point for Rome, right? That's an excellent topic.
I mean, it's just a shame because that's one of the games where I thought, okay, put these guys in the field. I thought we would have seen a nice 3-2 game or something like that. It just wasn't. Just shows you never know how it's going to play out. But
we have a comment in the chat about Pavoletti. I'm going to get to Pavoletti because for me, I was going to make him my player of the week, but he did have a strong game. We'll get to that game later. But this game, it wasn't anything special. 0-0 draw. I just put it there because it was two top 6 teams that.
Didn't we pick that game too?
We did. Yeah. I don't know if any of us got it right.
I don't think so.
No, I think we all got it wrong. I think we were all on the Sassuolo bandwagon.
We all picked Sassuolo.
To be fair, we never know if Caputo's playing. It changes a lot.
It's true. Caputo's corner.
Give me an update. Is he coming back?
Let me look. I'll look right now.
Even Boga. Boga was he was just lost in the game. He didn't touch the ball a lot. Berardi didn't play well. It was just a poor performance. Actually, I do like Ferrari in the back. He played well for Sassuolo. Way better than Kitty Cash from what I've seen. He was strong, anticipating the ball, moving up, cutting off passing lanes. I thought he played well.
So this is a comment. Maybe Sassuolo actually tied because they were in superiority. So meaning, I take that as basically saying, Sassuolo is a team that likes to counterattack a lot of times, right, with speed and kind of into space. And do you guys think it was the fact that they had an extra man and they it changed the balance of the game a little bit, that they weren't as fast and fluid attacking?
Maybe it stopped their sense of urgency because they had a man up. But Sassuolo usually dominates possession, so that's not uncharacteristic of them to have 60% of the ball, 55% of the ball.
So at times it looked like they were trying to force the play because they knew they had an extra man. It's like they weren't really playing their game. You know what I mean? Because
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Do you think it was?
I think there was some of that.
Well, I think also you have Juricic playing center forward, and that's not his normal role. They didn't put Raspadori in, they didn't have Caputo, so Juricic played a little bit more advanced. Lopez played a little bit more advanced than he usually does. So they did have some changes in there that could have messed with them. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's it's one game. You don't want to say that it's everything changed, but. I don't know. It was an off game for them. It's better than losing.
True.
Pull up the scores of the other games so we can just run down them real quick. Oh, one thing I did not mention: the weather in Italy was freaking terrible all across the country.
Freezing, right?
Most of the games were pouring rain. I mean, Atalanta game got canceled, postponed, and it had to be real bad. I saw the highlights. I saw the field. I saw the field. They sent. I saw pictures or whatever. It was just puddles and puddles and puddles. But that wasn't the only game. All across Italy, the fields were terrible and the weather was really bad. And how to be really bad if they postpone a game because they're not postponing anything these days. So Spezia Lazio 2-1. Again, I always say Spezia. I always root for them and say good things about them. They hit another 2 or 3 posts this game. They had their chances. It wasn't as clear cut as Lazio. Yeah, they beat Spezia. No, Spezia they hold their own every game, and they put a good effort forward, and they have at least they make their chances, they convert some of them, but that was not a bad game by them. 2-1 loss to Lazio. Respectable.
Yeah, the problem is with Spezia is like they play all these good games and still manage to just lose, right? So it's like, eventually you got to start like, that would mean something at the end of the season if you have those good games versus these big teams. At least you get a point out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're always on the short end of the stick, just by a bit.
And this was another bad weather kind of game too, so I don't know if that had anything to affect. We talked about Juventus. We talked about Inter. Hellas Verona, Cagliari, Pavoletti. So I don't know. You guys know his deal. 2 ACL injuries in the same knee the last 2 years. Finally coming back. I think I don't know if it was his first start or his second start since coming back. He changes like the identity of the team up there. Like his heading, I think he's the best header of the ball in the league. He scored.
Wow, that says a lot over Ronaldo, over everybody.
Yeah, he's very good in the air. He scored finally. It's just had to be a great feeling for him, and you can tell like he's loved by the team, and his teammates. It's nice to see him out there playing. And it sucks that his career was kind of hampered by these injuries, because before those injuries, I think he had a 16-goal season before that. Like there was talks of him possibly going over 20 goals. Can he make that next step? And then all those injuries.
How old is he now?
He's older now. That's the thing. Like I think he's 29, 30. I don't know.
Mm.
So as far as the game, I think I saw the highlights of this game, or maybe I was watching it live. I don't know. My brain's mush. But De Carmine had a goal, was offsides, right? He scored, and then your boy Sagane had a goal, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, don't get me started talking about Hellas Verona, because they're, like I said, I can say only positive things about them. I honestly think they're my favorite team to watch this year, just for what they do with what they have.
I actually thought they would have done. I actually thought they would have won this game. So are you disappointed with the tie?
I'm not disappointed with the tie, because they tie a lot of Coyote's not a bad team. First of all,
Pavoletti's apparently 30 from the someone in the crowd.
He's 30. But Hellas Verona, they're fun to watch. I don't know. There's something about them. I like them, but I don't expect them to win every game. So a tie is a tie. I'll take it for them. They're getting points. I need them to get over 40 so they stay up. That's all I care about.
They're staying up.
Let's go to Rome, Sassuolo. We talked about Parma Benevento 0-0 thriller. I watch highlights. ESPN and Serie A, they put up highlights every week. If you go on their Serie A, their YouTube channel is great. They show highlights every game. Trying to find 4 minutes worth of highlights in that game was a little rough for Serie A this year. This week it was bad. The highlights are shots going wide and nothing like even on net. It was not a good game.
Ferroni is good, by the way. We got a comment.
Yeah, he's good. Like I said, I really like Zaccagni, and I like Barak. I like
Lovato.
Lovato.
They have good players. Even their goalie, he has good games.
Yeah, Silvestri's been awesome this year. They're a solid team. What's over there? We have. I didn't put the Napoli-Crotone game. Napoli did win 4-0, but again, it was against Crotone. Crotone's got 2 points. No one expected Napoli to lose that game. Nothing.
I saw Insigne's goal. Typical Insigne. That was beautiful.
Beautiful goal.
Cut in, curler, like you can't. That's him. That's his game, right?
I feel like that's one of his 3 goals that he scores, though.
Yeah, a lot like Berardi on Sassuolo. Berardi cuts from the left. Insigne cuts from the right. They're pretty much, very similar in that way. Deme played again in the midfield. He played decent. Bakayoko played, but
so they have Petagna playing, right? Because I guess he scored, right? But I don't know, man. Milik should be playing, right?
Yeah, well, Petagna is not in there. He's not a solution for them. He's a backup. He started his first game of the season. He's not going to be one that they're relying on, and.
I know.
I
I'm
think the
saying
Milik thing. I think the Milik thing was just blown out of proportion, right? I mean, just to be like you're off. Like I don't know, you couldn't salvage that.
He went about things the wrong way, and that's what you get. Like when you got a strong-minded person like Gattuso, and he's not. Gattuso's not going to change his mind.
Yeah.
So it's he
or as I call him, Cone to light.
He laid his own bed there. Maybe they get rid of him in January. But I mean, he's going to be on free too, so I don't think they would get a lot anyway. So
Juventus will buy him for free.
I think Juventus, they would sign him for free for sure.
Because we need another forward.
I wouldn't do that, man. That's just adding to the wage bills. They already. Oh my god, I hate this team.
Do you guys want to go to Player of the Week?
Sure.
Okay, so let's do that. Again this week, you guys picked the same exact player. Jesus, did you guys even watch more than one game a week? Right.
We just compare notes, and then we just say, okay, who do you want to pick?
Yeah, listen, I don't mind. You guys, you make it easier for me to make the graphic. Go ahead, I'll put the same picture up there.
To be fair, I picked him first. And then
you just responded to the text first.
So, God, you want to say why you picked them?
Not really. Just to me, just 2 good assists, and the fact that in terms of the other fullbacks we have, I think he's just the most consistent one we have, and he makes a difference when he's there. In this game, he did.
Good things happen when he gets the ball, right? Like he makes stuff happen. So.
And I gave Inter a little love, even though I hate to give Inter a little love, but I put Hakimi there because he's had a rough season and he played well. He deserves it. But again, Pavoletti was my other one who I kind of wanted to put there just for like a feel good thing. I know we don't pick these based off of Champions League or Europa League. The other shout out we wanted to give out.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to shout out Keza from his Champions League game.
Oh, that's
I was told that's not allowed.
No, because it's week 10 Player of the Week. It's week 10 of the league. But go ahead.
My answer was that was this week.
But just a shout out from somebody who played midweek, Calafiore.
Oh my God,
played so well. I mean, there's
I want him.
The fullback from Roma. If you haven't seen his goal, look it up. Midweek, it was a blast.
He'll end up on Milan.
So the thing is too, in the first half, he had another rip, like half volley that would like just skimmed the post. He played awesome.
Yeah,
he was legit.
He was active the entire game, not just the goal. Like the entire game, he was all over the place. He played awesome. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the game, watch it or watch the highlight at least.
Listen, there's no doubt when you see these games, even if it's not like a tremendous player that's like he plays every game amazing, but when you have a fullback who makes a difference, these wing players, it just opens up so much possibility for the rest of the team. It widens it just opens up movement. It's just that
the defense
they're game breakers.
Right?
Yeah, they're game breakers.
Spreads the field. It was nice watching him play, man. And for it to be 18 and have an impact on the game like that, that's awesome. And he's Italian. He's Italian.
That shot was insane.
That's what I'm saying. Bring on some Italy players.
Yeah, man.
Yes. All right, Dom, you want to throw the standings up just so we can see them real quick and see if there was any movement? Because there was. Top 4.
How is Juventus in 4th? What the hell?
It's funny. Because we talk about Inter and Juventus and how much they suck, and they're in 2nd and 4th. It's just like, how is that possible?
Here's the one thing it's setting up, honestly, which is going to be really nice. The second, the return leg of the championship, all these games are really going to matter. It's going to be like back in like the 90s almost, where it was like, Inter, Juventus, Milan, Juventus, they always meant something for the championship, and that would be awesome if we can get to the second half and all these head-to-head matchups mean something. That would be great because it hasn't been like that in like 9 years.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I don't think just the last week is gonna mean something. Like the last month, every single game, the matchups are gonna be crazy, and it's like, man, I better beat up Bunkratone because all these other games are going to be real tough. Like, I better get 3 points from that game. So, I don't know.
So
so close.
The thing is, those teams are going to be fighting to stay up too. So it's not that easy to just be like, hey,
Sometimes in the second half of the season, those bottom teams are the hardest teams to play against. So yeah, for sure, every single game is going to be hard.
Quick shout out to our team in 2019, 17th, Fiorentina, tying 1-1 today. I hate this team so much, dude. They were losing. I don't know. It was like they 1-0 in the 94th minute or something, and then they get a goal in the 97th minute. They're lucky to get a point out of that.
That's the last time I make you at the beginning of the season tell me someone was going to be good.
That was Daniel. That was not me. That was him.
You tell me Fiorentina doesn't have good players, and I'll laugh in your face because they do have good players.
They do. So, it's infuriating, and I hate them.
Yeah, but no, Milinkovic had like 3 attempts in the last minute of the game, or last second of the game, and he blasted one on the top of the roof, top of the net, and they managed to salvage a tie. Piazza, he scored a nice goal. Yeah. Again, play with skill. Juventus owned, can't stay healthy, but like he's got some goal. He's got skill. No one ever denied that.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the Italy draw?
Oh, so I have
a time out. You're really going to talk about the Italy draw when the Euros even happened?
Yes, because it happened today. And
it's happened today. You might have to talk about it.
He was Giuliani that part.
Another funny video, if you want to see Giuliani farting in an interview, go watch.
Why have I not seen this video? What are you talking about?
I haven't seen it.
Don, put up the group of the Italy for Qatar 2022. I think I put a graphic there. They don't have a difficult group. My screen's frozen, so I don't know.
Do you forget we didn't qualify last year?
No. I was about to say that. My screen's frozen. I can't see the group. But
it's Italy, Switzerland, Northern Ireland, Bulgaria, and Lithuania.
I'm not even gonna say they should win the group. They need to go undefeated in that group.
Switzerland always plays them hard.
That's what I'm expecting, undefeated in that group.
No, Switzerland always plays them hard, and Bulgaria could be dangerous on the right day. I mean, it's Italy
got a lot
after
of good ball guards on that team, Frank. Get out of here, man! Come on.
Listen, I'm just saying. Let's not take anything for granted. Last World Cup, we were sitting there watching without the U.S. and without Italy, if you remember.
Yeah, that sucked, man.
I can't put that again.
It was rough. So anyway, that's the group. I just made that because it was news that came out today, and I figured we'd put it out there. I think there's another graphic. Oh, I have updated Champions League standings, which I wish my screen was working because I would like to look at it. But one of you guys can maybe read it off or let them know the scenarios.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, you got it.
Go ahead. You can go ahead. I don't have to talk. Yeah.
Well, so Juventus, it's locked up, right? I mean, they're in second place. I don't know what do they play Tuesday or Wednesday this week?
I have a different graphic. I think they play. I don't know. Oh, we'll see later.
It's a Ronaldo Messi rematch, right?
Yeah, I mean that's cool, but like as far as the game doesn't, I feel like the 18-year-old should play. Screw it, right? Like.
So Juventus game doesn't matter other than.
Doesn't it matter if you win the group though, where you get placed?
Yeah, but they're not going to win the group.
Barcelona has +7 goals on them, so it's impossible for them to.
Well, they have to win 8-0.
Yeah. So it's good to see Lazio has put themselves in a good position. Really, they only needed a tie basically to advance. I think. Atalanta was a disappointing performance. FC Midtjylland tied them, their first ever point in Champions League. They scored a really nice goal.
That could come back and bite them in the butt, though.
100% come. Now they have to tie Ajax. That's all they have to do is tie Ajax.
Tie or win. That's a bad spot. You should have won that game, and he would have had a cushion.
But Midtjylland played good. Like it was a good performance from them.
So really quickly, looking at that first group, man, I don't know. I would fire Conte if they don't make it out of this group. I would like. You know how much money you lose from not making it to the second round.
So what if this group ends up where Real Madrid and Inter are knocked out?
I hope so.
Who would have predicted that one?
Here's the thing: if I understood it correctly, the third place team in the group goes on to Europa League, and fourth place goes on to nothing. So
I would hope so. What do you want to go on to?
You're not even going to Europa League, so you're not even getting that money. So that would be huge. And Inter, we were watching the game. I went over to eat dinner at our parents' house, and I was watching the second half with Daddy. And it was just funny. Both of us, like, yes, I want Italian teams to do well, but both of us there were cheering for Borussia Mönchengladbach like so hard, because Inter just makes it so frustrating. They take the lead and they let it go right back. Like you thought at the end of the game, oh, there's no way they're winning. They're not winning this game. They're gonna blow this lead. It was typical Inter, like not making it easy for themselves. They were kind of lucky to win that game, and they needed it because if they didn't win, they were out. But they still have a lot of work to do. They need to win, but they also need a little bit of luck. It's not going to be easy for them to get in. So they're the real head scratcher.
Listen, right now you have teams looking good. You can go from getting really lucky and everyone skating. You can go also only one team moving forward, right? Like
which is bad.
You can have Atalanta, Lazio, and Inter getting knocked out.
Yeah, no, that doesn't look good for the Italian league.
No.
You want to have at least two people going forward.
What was it?
I think they'll have three. In the end, I think three will make it through.
So what was it? 2 or 3 years ago, England had all four in the final four. Right?
Yeah,
like that.
Which sucked.
Yeah, it sucked for us, but for England, that's like it's awesome.
Yeah. Atalanta, I mean,
maybe that canceled game might help Atalanta. You never know.
That's what I was thinking. They have rest now at least. They got canceled. They got a week off. Hopefully they can come in focused and just tie. Don't play for the tie, but all you have to do is tie. Gagliardini's playing decent. I'll give him that. Gagliardini is playing decent, and that's why they're also, like I said, they're talking about contract extension. I thought I saw online today that Barella got hurt in practice today, which isn't good for Inter. They need him. I don't know 100% on that. Like I said, I only saw like one tweet. I don't know if it confirmed it or anything. It was just one person tweeting that. So if he's not playing, that's rough because I think their intentions was not to play Vidal this week, for the Champions League. But they might be forced into playing him.
What happened to Sensi? Is Sensi still hurt? Is he on the team?
Where's Sensi?
No, Sensi's there. I think he's just not in the mix. Well, I think he had COVID too. Also, there's a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, and he might get lucky. He might be forced to play Sensi, and it might be the best thing he does. Sensi's good. He needs to get out of there if he's not going to play.
Yeah, I agree. Sensi's a player. Imagine if Sassuolo still had him.
What?
Sassuolo. Imagine if Sassuolo still had him.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Demirol and
yeah. Dom, are there any more graphics, or is that everything? I can't remember. Oh yeah, put the Champions League schedule up for this week. So Tuesday you have 2 games. Lazio, has the early game. Barcelona. So this is tomorrow. Barcelona, Juventus, 3:00. Again, I don't think it really matters because Barcelona's up 7 goals.
Well, but so they're up 1 point though. So if Juventus does win, right, they could.
What do you mean they're up 1 point? It's 12-15 points. Barcelona's undefeated.
The graphics are really small. I thought it said something different. Sorry.
Yeah. Then Atalanta Ajax is the big one. Ajax is home, I think. So, not that I don't think that they even have fans over there either. But Shakhtar and Inter. At least all these games are at different times, and we can watch them and not have to, bounce back and forth, which is good.
So going back to what Frankie said, what if Inter and Real Madrid don't make it out of that group? How freaking great would that be?
Talk about Zidane getting fired. Here's a thought: fire Zidane, hire him to Juventus, get rid of Pirlo.
Well, that was my next thing. I said, not that I want to see them flush Pirlo after too easily, but I think that was kind of they were hoping, right? This before Pirlo, I think they were hoping for Zidane.
Dude, I don't.
Yeah, he was a question mark if he was staying over there, or, what the deal was. Like I said, Juventus. We all said this. Juventus didn't have a plan with their coach. Fire, sorry, but what are we doing? Do we want?
I think you guys are underestimating the money loss that they had this year. It's to hire him, you're gonna have to pay him a lot of money. And I think that's why they're going to get rid of Ronaldo. I think ultimately because of $35 million wage bill, and they're going to have to start getting rid of some of that stuff. I mean, it's not just them; it's every team, But it's
I mean, so like let's see how the groups shape up this week, and then we can go from there. Dom, throw out the schedule for this weekend.
Let's pick some games.
We can pick some games. We can see. I haven't really even looked at the games if there's any good ones.
Our collective record's like 300%. So.
What do you mean 300%?
Like correct.
30%.
30%.
30%. Oh yeah, I was gonna say 300%.
You gotta make that bigger, buddy.
I can't read that. All right, so just off the bat, I don't see any good games. Not one good game.
Oh, Lazio Verona is good.
No, it's not. Get the hell out.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's a really entertaining game to watch.
Look, I didn't even spell check that. It's Verona.
That's a good game, man. Also, Rome Bologna is a good game.
Merci. We got another comment in the chat. Please make it bigger. I cannot see this.
Yeah.
I don't have good eyesight. Thank you.
Nicely produced. Leave it up, would you?
So as far as the games, I'm going to pick Verona.
You let to fire someone that you don't pay and that is related to you.
2-1 over Lots. I'm picking Verona.
What did you pick, Chris? My earpiece fell out.
Verona 2-1 over Lots.
Ooh.
Frank, what about you?
I'm also going to say 2-1 Verona.
Okay, everyone's going for Verona. I hate that you guys are on my bandwagon. It really pisses me off.
It's not your bandwagon. We liked them last year, too.
Yeah. Lazio have a game today, so they're not going to play well this week. I'm going to say 3-2 Verona.
Okay, really quickly in the comments, we think there's an upset. Inter's going to lose versus Coyote.
Wow. That's the game I was going to pick. Coyote Inter. Inter also has a game for their life right now in the Champions League this weekend, or this week, midweek. So I can see them really having a downturn this weekend. I'm going to say 2-1 Coyote over Inter. Again, not a hard sell for me because I hate Inter. So
I'm going to say 1-1 Coyote Inter.
That's what I was going to say. Tie 1-1.
Okay, so Frank, you got to pick a game now.
I got to pick a game now. I'm going to go Bologna Rome. I'm going to say 2-1 Bologna.
Ooh.
Wow, okay. Chris?
Right. I want to pick Bologna. I don't think I'm going to, though. You know what? I'll say 2-2 tie.
We should just rename this the Underdog Podcast.
I'm going favorite. 4-2 Rome.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's it. Do you guys have any? Oh, last note, Balotelli signing with Monza. Serie B, the team that I told you, I think Berlusconi bought that team, and he's all about bringing them up to first division for the first time ever, spending money. Balotelli is signing with them, I believe. So they can have that basket case because no one else does.
Really quickly before we sign off, I do want to shout out, and producer Don can help with this, but we did get a shout out from another podcast the other day. Our friend Scott Brennan at Verbal Shenanigans. Funny guys, if you want to go check that out.
I recommend going back in the archives and watching the Marcelo Balboa interview episodes.
Yeah, so he actually gets legit guests and stuff, not just their dad typing in chat, right? So
we can't even get our dad to come on the video part.
Yeah.
So it's called Verbal Shenanigans.
And he's also saying Monza, which I thought that was true too, and he's confirming Monza was in Serie A. He's saying.
I read that they would never were, but I guess so. I mean, I'll
check your facts, man. Check your facts.
He's watched more than me, but
you're cutting me off. But if you guys want, not that anyone watches our show, but go check it out. Verbal Shenanigans.
When we get a Twitter.
I hate you. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got. Let's go.
Oh yeah, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Up to 23 subscribers. We were at 24. Someone said, "You know what? Screw this. Let's get out of here." 23, back down to 23. But we're close. To
we
25.
should do. We probably shouldn't wait until an hour and 15 minutes into the episode to first mention subscribing.
I think Chris should take off one article of clothing for every new subscriber.
I'm down, dude. If I don't get arrested, that's fine. I'll do it.
Our mission to 1 million subscribers is on its way.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
All right.
See you next week.
Adios.